Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, Bunny Kingdom was invaded by the ruthless Bearyenas, so Lasi and her loyal guardians had to work super fast to protect all of her tiny little friends. Dracula actually emerged as the hero in the story. Not only was he able to slay the beast, but he also saved his leader from taking quite a bit of damage. That one battle lost 5 days off of his lifespan, so if he had allowed the Bearyena to focus on Lasi instead, it's very likely that she wouldn't even be around right now to lead our creatures to the next island. And now we do have our safe passage again. Hopefully, if we bring our creatures across this one tiny tile of ocean, they'll be able to get to the new island without taking any drowning damage. A storm has rolled in, though, which is quite fortunate for some of our sneakier creatures, because the Snake Sisters want to stay behind, despite their parents' wishes. They seem to have made friends with this adorable little Bearyena, with a rather peculiar love for the ocean. But the Bearyena seems just as interested in the Snake Sisters too, so they're hoping that this might be their opportunity to branch away from their parents when they're distracted by the journey. But first, we do need Lasi to set her paws on the shores to make sure that everything is safe over here so she can call the rest of the tribe to join her. As long as we set her up right on the dry land as soon as she sets foot on the bottom of the sea floor, she should be okay. Wait a second, is she taking drowning damage already? It looks like she might actually be. Okay, well, let's bring you out of the water then, Lasi. That was very strange. Is everybody else going to take drowning damage too? Oh, this is not good. Dracula, you might want to check up on your leader too, so let's scoot him out of the water. No, he was okay. And how about Kiroku? Is your brother going to be able to swim to the other side? Yeah, seems like he was fine too, so that was very, very strange, Lasi. I guess that was just a fluke? Maybe she's not as good at swimming as some of her other tribe mates. I guess we'll have to keep that in mind. I'm honestly not sure why it would only affect her because they all have the same size body. We discovered during our previous series that the big body would typically allow our creatures to move a bit more deeply into the water. But everybody in this group only has the medium body, so I guess that wouldn't be affecting it either. Very, very strange, but either way, I mean, Lasi, this is going to be your last chance to start your family. Now you've lost a little bit of your lifespan too. So let's at least have her sniff around the place, with her brother and with her future mate, to see if they can find anything worthwhile over here. So far, they only hear another one of those bunnies, so I'm sure that's a very reassuring thing for Lasi at the very least. She does love her bunny friends. So we'll leave her right here for now so she can lead the tribe over and hopefully guide them a little bit more safely than she did for herself. If we move Spore a bit closer, then maybe Dart can scoot right down to this tile. Then she should be able to hop the gap without any trouble too. We'll move her way over here to make room for the rest of her friends. And the bunnies seem to be coming out to greet Lasi instead. For some reason, they always seem to follow her around, especially when she's hurt. But on the plus side, that does give the Snake Sisters a very good opportunity to perhaps slip away into the darkness, right into the tall grass where nobody is likely to find them. With all of the commotion and with their leader's unfortunate injuries, their parents might just think that they fell victim to the waves just like Lasi. So maybe they would assume once they realize that their daughters haven't actually followed them, that they just ended up drowning in the ocean. And I'm sure Kiroku, with his distaste for the water already, would only find this as another reason to hate the ocean and this chain of islands that they're trapped on. Maybe he would start to view things related to the water as being particularly unlucky too. Things like the gills, the webbed paws, the little frog toes. He would view those water traits as more of a curse than anything else and shun them from his bloodline. So maybe Lasi could move her way between her mate and her brother to try to soothe him a little bit and to assure him that she's okay too. She just needs a good long rest after battling those currents. Then on the next turn, the mushrooms can finish their journey as well and head over to the next island. But otherwise, it seems as if your scheming ways have worked, little ones. You might be able to stick around with your Bearyena friend yet. I think they would give him a name too. Maybe they would affectionately start to call him Riptide since they've noticed his love for the ocean. Something very menacing, but also gentle enough to remind them of his love for the water. Now it looks like our hunters have some more bunnies to catch over here. So Sundrop, maybe you could alert your sister that we do have a little thief in our midst, stealing the berries from Toadstool, in fact, which I'm sure he's very, very upset about. So if you could jump way down here with your 2 running legs. She is a very speedy one, so she's certainly suited to the task. Then we can allow Toadstool to scoop up all these berries, and then wander over here to say hello to his very first son. Oh, and look at this, we have another bunny down here too. Maybe you should listen around a little bit more, Sundrop, just in case. Well, it seems like that's probably the last bunny on this island, so Flare, if you wouldn't mind, maybe you could jump down here too and land at least 1 blow on the bunny. I guess she's just as weak as her brother technically is, though at least with the poison fangs she can land some extra damage on the tougher enemies. Not the bunnies, apparently. Who would have thought that little bunnies would be immune to poison? So we might have to have your father come down here and help you out, grab up that meat for you, and share it with the little baby too. Oh, and it looks like he came across a shell in the water as well. That's nice to see, especially with our new harvest baby, with those lovely nimble fingers and the cracker jaw too. Pumpkin actually named him Nuke here, as if in honor of the great harvest god himself. So it's pretty clear that this family intends to follow the ways of Vangear, and if we bring Pumpkin over here to breed with her mate again, then she should be able to settle down a little nest of her own so she can have another baby on the next turn. Now since we seem to have hunted down the last bunny on this island, I wanted to bring Sundrop down to the shore to see if he can hear anything across the waves. If we move him just a little bit closer, we might be able to do some scouting before we even set paw on this brand new soil. So maybe you could scoot your way into the water. I'm a little bit nervous now that we saw what happened to Lasi, but so far he seems like he's okay. Oh, and he found some fish too. That's a good thing, especially since we have some claws in our midst now. So maybe Pumpkin will be able to scoop those up if you let her know that they're here. But otherwise, I think you are going to stick to this tile. We don't want to move him any further, but he could try to dig up some of those pesky little morsels on the seafloor. Even though nobody seems to have any luck, it is at least getting us closer to that platypus beak. But I think that's all the turns we can use for now. So let's go ahead and skip the day and keep a close eye on our Bearyena, of course, just to see if he's going to go further into the water. Well, right now he seems to be trying to intimidate the mushrooms. I wonder if he's trying to get them to leave faster? The snake sister must have told little Riptide about their plans, and he wants to make sure that nobody is going to get the chance to see them before they leave. So maybe he's scaring them with little menacing growls and snarls to get them to dive into the ocean as fast as possible and jump back to dry land. Yeah, yet again, Portobello seemed fine, so poor Lasi always seems to get the short end of the stick. The only one I'm worried about now is little Enoki because he only has 2 gems, and he still has a few more days before he's going to grow up and hopefully get across this gap without drowning. So perhaps this is where another vital split in the family will take place. As Truffle II makes his way over to the island too, I think we're going to have to make some room for him though. So maybe Lasi could work her way deeper into the grass. Oh my goodness, how many moles do we have here? That is a ton of molehills. Are they all actually moles here, or is somebody digging up our roots? That's quite bizarre. This seems to be a hint, if nothing else, that somebody else might be living on this island. I guess we're going to have to investigate that pretty soon too. But for now, we'll bring Truffle over to be with his family, and then Enoki, with nowhere else to go, is going to end up running straight down the shore to get away from the Bearyena. But as far as the Snake Sisters know, their plan has definitely worked. Now they have tons and tons of berries on this island to survive on. They have the bunnies too. I guess it's a good thing that Lasi has moved on, because it's quite likely that our little Riptide is going to want to find some lunch of his own. He is a carnivore, and even though the Snake Sisters have tried to quell his appetite with berries, it's the meat here that's really going to make a difference. And these poor little bunnies don't even know any better. They're just diving into the arms of our waiting Snake Sisters. They're going to have to learn pretty quickly that these guys aren't quite as friendly as Lasi was. But let's bring Dracula up here as soon as we possibly can, because we definitely want them to start their family now. Lasi only has 2 days remaining on her lifespan, so she's not really going to get the chance to teach them all of the Bluebird ways. She may need to request that Dracula is the one to ensure that their legacy survives, but first let's make sure that we place the stripes in his mutation menu, because as always we want to see those stripes carried on in Adam's line. Then we might as well place the ram horns in here too, to ensure that their babies are nice and strong. And otherwise, I think their babies are very likely to be healthy. They'll even have the normal blood clotting gene. So Dracula, go ahead and use your turns to breed with Lasi, then she can place a nest right down between all of these little bunnies, and hopefully unbury herself too, because we don't want any sneaky little Bearyenas coming up behind her. And now Dart and Kiroku can make their mournful journey over to the tree on this island, because of course they're still assuming that their daughters are likely dead. And again with these molehills, or these dirt patches at least, because there are definitely no moles down there. This is very, very suspicious. Well, make your way quietly through the grass, okay? You guys are lucky because you blend in pretty well, so if anything was out here, they probably wouldn't see you. Except for the bunnies, of course. I think we might have to hunt some of these down, otherwise they're going to become way too much of a nuisance. Hopefully that'll be after Lasi has passed though, because it's going to make her very, very sad if she has to kill off her bunny friends. But you guys are already almost to the tree itself, so go ahead and sniff around again just in case. Yeah, it really just seems like this island is totally populated by bunnies, unless somebody is hanging around the outskirts, because what else would be digging up the roots? I've never seen a bunny eat anything other than the berries, so I'm not sure. It's kind of stumping me. But Portabella, why don't you come up here so you can be right next to your very best friend as she gives birth to her first child. Then we can scoot on back here to say hello to the next baby in our harvesting line. Oh, look at those poison fangs. Oh my goodness, and the stinky tail? Wait a second, we finally have a baby with a stinky tail. Oh, that is wonderful. We have been trying for so very long now to pull that stinky tail out of somebody's genetics. Oh, you are the chosen baby, and all we had to do was get on Vankir's good side. Perhaps that's because the swamplands are also home to lots and lots of poison berries. So not only does she have the stinky tail to protect her from the bugs in the swamps, but she also has the poison fangs to eat the berries, and the nimble fingers to pick a whole bunch of them for the tribe. So I think, once again in honor of Vankir himself, we'll name this little baby Primrose. Most of Vankir's babies were named after flowers and plants, so it seems like a good way to honor his memory, and to honor his fantastic gift too, of course, because that is going to be super, super helpful once we finally do make it all the way up to the next island. I think it's up on this one right here. You know, these are the ports that we're planning to head to next, and it does definitely appear that it's going to be full of a swampy territory. So that's one less thing that we'll have to worry about now. But let's make sure that Scout goes ahead and scoops up this little shell before it gets pulled away by the bandit brothers, of course. Then as we wait for Flair to grow, we might as well try to dig up even more of these little morsels on the seafloor. Surely somebody is going to be able to complete the task. Maybe even Delta could try her paw? I don't think she's ever tried digging up anything before, so maybe that is her super special secret talent that we just don't know about yet. We'll have her give it a try in the next turn. And then Sundrop, I guess you could scout out the next island if you're feeling brave. He has so much potential and those giant ears and the big nose too. So let's scoot him across the waves. Oh no, he took a little bit of damage as well. That might be because I moved him into the water instead of the dry land. You poor thing. But now you should definitely be able to hear those bunnies hopping around a bit more easily. So at least you know that there's food for your family to eat here. You can let them know by shouting across the waves, of course, as we bring Toadstool over here to pick the berries instead, and dig his mate out from the tall grass a little bit too. I think we'll have Nukir stick to the mainland for now, so that he'll be able to find some of his own berry bushes to pick from. But other than that, I think we're all done with our turns, so let's once again return to this side of the island to see where our Bearyena is headed next. It does seem like he's fully grown now. I think he grew up on the previous turn and he's looking for some of those tasty little bunnies to snack on himself. Oh my goodness, but Lasi, you gave us twins? Oh, how perfect is that? I was so worried that we wouldn't have enough babies from her line, but we already have a brand new set of twins who seem to be blessed by the balanced sisters. We have a beast over here with the big body and the claw, and then his tiny brother with the nimble fingers and the medium body. They look so cute next to each other. I think what Lasi might do is pass each of them one of the bluebird feathers, so they can hopefully lead the island side by side once she passes away. With a wonderful sign like this, it almost seems like it's fate. But I do think I want her to have just one more baby before she passes, because this is her final day, and neither of her babies actually managed to inherit that home island gene. So even though we have our future leaders, we'll go ahead and have her scoot over here to breed with her mate one last time and have one more baby before the end. Just this once, I think we'll break tradition a little bit too, and name these two babies something different, just to remind us of the balanced sisters who blessed them. So we'll name this little baby Drift and his tiny brother Breeze to contrast the calm and gentle ocean air with the occasionally dangerous currents in the water. And it's kind of poetic that Portobello is going to be passing away on this day too. That means they'll be able to end their journey in the same way that it began, right by each other's side. They used to comb the shores together, looking for treasure and adventure, and now they can pass surrounded by all of those that they love. It's unfortunate that the same can't be said for Kiroku and Dart, who are still very, very torn up about losing both of their daughters. So let's bring them over to this tree finally. Oh my gosh, with a little nest underneath it. Again, how perfect is this? Kiroku has found yet another safe haven hidden right underneath the only tree on this island. So if nothing else, they can take that as a particularly good sign. Dart can come over here and use her turn to breed with her mate, I guess. Unless maybe we swap it around, because if she has an extra turn, she might be able to scoop up one of these bunnies. They are hopping very, very close, and we already know that Kiroku can't land the killing blow. But we'll see if maybe one hops close enough for her to snag before we end the turn. For now, let's just sniff around one last time. Yeah, I still don't smell anyone in the area, so I am very, very confused. I don't know where all of these big mud hills are popping up from, unless whoever was here has already moved on. But let's see if we can't find our resident Bearyena a snack as well. So now that they're safe, I guess Anaconda could probably pick her berries, but Boa would be the one to go hunting, since she does have that giant claw. Let's see if we can sniff out where the bunnies may have hopped off to. It looks like we only have one down by the shore, and I mean, Inoki isn't going to be in any state to give the Bearyena any food. But that could be a good opportunity for him to at least hunt down some food for himself. So where did that little bunny go? Hopping into the grass. Oh, Inoki doesn't seem to be the best at chasing down bunnies, but we'll hide him in there, so maybe he'll get a chance in the next turn when he has a little bit more energy. So the bunnies might be too scarce for now, but at least we still have the berries. And at least we still have the company of our resident friendly Bearyena. I think these two have definitely fallen for this very mysterious creature, who they both knew since they were young. It might help explain why they both fought so hard to stay by his side, and now they have the perfect opportunity to start a little family of their own. A little family of secret Bearyena babies far, far away from their original family way off by their trees. So let's have a Boa, after we take a look at her mutation menu, maybe place those ram horns into one of her slots as well, just to make it a little bit more likely that we'll see them on her babies. Though in all honesty, any baby with a Bearyena is destined to be very, very strong. So go ahead and breed with Riptide and then settle yourself down in one of these nests. Hopefully we can maneuver her around to the permanent one so we can save all of that nesting material for somebody else. And there's our bunny friend again. So Inoki, you might have to get a little bit closer to the Bearyenas than you would like if you want to snag up a meal of your own, Or maybe not. It seems like they're teasing you now that they know you're too tired to move. Well, he'll have to scrounge up food somehow, so you might not want to stick around for too much longer. We only have a few more turns to go before he'll be ready to pounce. And look at that, Flare is ready to move to the next island too. She has her final gem, so that means she should be able to settle herself down in the water just like her brother did. And then as Sundrop calls out that he found another shell on the beach, that might be just enough to convince little Scout to join them too. He actually has a swimming tail, so he should be able to get across those larger gaps. In fact, we might even be able to set him up next to a Sundrop on this turn. He can swim 2 tiles at a time, so if he jumps over here and then right back out to solid land, now he has tons of food to collect. Oh my goodness, the shells, all of these acorns back here too. Oh, you must be in heaven right now. Well, let's sniff around again to see if you can smell anything special. The berry bushes are in full bloom out here, and the bunnies, of course, are snacking away on them too. So why don't we have Sundrop make his way deeper into the grass? That way he might be able to scoop up some bunnies, I guess. He could weaken this one for when his sister gets here, or just trap it. All right, he actually took down his very first bunny all by himself. Oh, he must be so proud of himself right now. That's all he really wanted, to become a true hunter. So he is definitely showing his stuff right now. Now let's bring Delta down here too, and hopefully she'll be able to try her hand at digging up those morsels. No way, you actually did it, Delta! That is her super special secret little skill that she's been hiding. She can dig up all of those worms on the sea floor. So you can bring those to your brother, I guess. I'm not sure how appetizing he's actually going to find them. But we have been trying for so long to dig up those patches that honestly, you deserve a little Medal of Honor. Maybe Nukier could even come down here and learn a thing or two from you. We were planning on picking up all those berries, but I think you would find that very, very impressive. And then if sweet little Primrose would toddle her way out of the nest, we might be able to have one more harvesting baby between them before they leave for the next island too. Their last baby was super, super lucky, so let's cross our fingers that this one is just the same. But I think we're going to go back to see Lasi on her very final day as we skip this turn, surrounded by all of her friends, all of her closest family, and leaving behind a tiny little daughter in this nest, with the stripes and the poison fangs. And the home island gene too, excellent! So it will live on after all in Adam's own family line. And now we can successfully give the 2 twins, Drift and Breeze, their very first gift of bluebird feathers. So it looks like the task is going to fall onto Dracula's shoulders to make sure that all of the babies know the bluebird stories. So someday these twins will truly be able to call themselves leaders too. But before we say goodbye, I am quite curious if that brand new gene we've unlocked has anything to do with this baby over here. Oh, she looks so menacing! The Bearyena claws have returned! And stranger still is the frog toes, the little webbed hind legs that she seems to have. Can we get a closer look at that? Oh, that's so strange! Even the swimming tail as well? That means that she should have a quite high movement speed in the water despite her Bearyena lynx. So all the more reason for the Snake Sisters' parents to believe in the curse of the water genes. That mix would surely only remind them of terrible, terrible times. But we'll have to get a closer look at this baby too, because he certainly reminds me of a little Button from our previous island. I think the only difference in the mask is just the colors. He definitely is suited to the jungle life, just like his parents are too. So I think we'll name this little baby Mowgli, after the jungle child himself, of course, which will hopefully open a new chapter for our jungle-loving family. And as far as the secret Bearyena family goes, I'm tempted to name them after different types of shells right now. Since their own father has such a love for the ocean, we'll name this little baby Scallop. And in the next episode, we'll have to see if that streak continues. And we'll also have to explore this island a little bit more too, to see if our suspicions are correct, and if maybe somebody is lurking around the shores. It's very, very mysterious either way. Those big piles of mud are still quite disturbing to me. There has to be somebody leaving them behind, and it can't just be the bunnies. So maybe the twins will have to do a little bit of detective work once they get a bit older. Put those bluebird feathers to good use, and hopefully find a brand new face to bring into our tribe. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!